there, my name is Megan and welcome to my channel, or welcome back. Today I'm going to be sharing with you my June book haul. I have 9 books that I'm excited to share with you guys, some new and some used books. But before we go ahead and get on into the books, if you are not already subscribed to my channel, please consider hitting that subscribe button, as well as giving this video a like to show my channel a little bit of love. Without further ado, let's go ahead and get on into the haul. I'm going to start with my used books. So the first book is The Last Time I Lied by Riley Sager. And I don't typically buy thrillers because I feel like once you have read it and you learned the answer to the mystery, it really takes out all of the suspense and the angst of the book. But me and my husband went like on a little couple-day getaway to this really small, cute town, and they had a used bookstore, and I just wanted to support the small bookstore. This is one of the only Riley Sager books that I haven't read. It was only $2, so I went ahead and got it. I don't really know how much of my little $2 are going to support the bookstore, but I just wanted to contribute. But in this book, we are following a girl named Emma, and Emma was at Camp Nightingale when she was a teenager, and she was in this cabin with these other girls. The other girls snuck out and they never ever returned. Something happened to them. They went missing. We don't really know. Fast forward to when Emma is an adult. She has made a life as a painter, and her paintings have caught the attention of the new, director of Camp Nightingale, and she invites Emma back to be a painting instructor at this camp. And Emma soon realizes that there's like an ulterior motive for inviting her back, and she starts to investigate the real events surrounding the disappearance of these other girls and putting all of the pieces together to find out exactly what happened to them that night. I'm excited to have this. I've enjoyed all of the Riley Sager books that I've had. They're good thrillers. They have good twists. So $2 well spent. The next book I picked up is Blade Breaker by Victoria Aveyard. This is the second book in her newest series and the sequel to Realm Breaker, Book 1. I read Victoria Aveyard's Red Queen series several years ago. I enjoyed it overall, so I'm excited to delve into a new fantasy series of hers. In this series, we are following a world known as the Ward, and we are following a main character known as Karan, and she lives in this like small, kind of sequestered part of the world. And one day, someone comes knocking on her front door, an immortal being, also an assassin, who tells her that she is the last in this lineage of really powerful beings who holds within her the ability to save the world and get rid of this growing darkness. Corianne, this new stranger, as well as a group of misfits, find themselves thrown together and on a journey to this empire to defeat this evil villain who is raising an army to destroy the world. So it sounds like just a good, fun YA fantasy time with high stakes and fun characters, and I'm excited to give this new series a try. Next, I found Beneath the Twisted Trees by Bradley Blue. This is book 4 in the Song of the Shattered Sand series. I think there's 5 total in this series, and I have only read book 1. I do have a full review for that. It's 12 Kings and Sharakai. I'll link it up in the cards for you guys. It's been about 2 years since I've read it, and I really do want to continue this series. So when I saw this at my used bookstore, I just went ahead and grabbed it because I know that I will finish the series eventually. So those are the used books I got. Next is a book that was gifted to me, and that is The Advent of Winter. This is a collection of short stories, and it is a gorgeous book. I really don't think I have a book quite like it in my collection, but we have our cover. It's so wintry. And the sprayed edges. And on the inside, we have just really beautiful cover. And then beautiful artwork on the end pages. And then this book is signed by all of the authors that contributed to it. So it's just a really unique book to have in my collection, and I 100% am getting winter vibes from this. So I'm very excited to have it and to read in the winter season. Next, we have a book that my husband so generously bought for me, and that is Calamity by Constance Fay. This is a sci-fi romance, which is a genre that is not very prominent, but I think is picking up traction, and I keep hearing that literary agents and things like that are looking for sci-fi romance, so this might be a new genre, up-and-coming genre. But this book piqued my interest months ago when I saw it was coming out because it just sounds really interesting, and I think the second book in the series is already out. But this is an enemies to lovers romance, and we are following a main character named Temperance. Temperance was part of a very wealthy family, and she was actually banished from the family, and she is doing everything possible to keep her crew of her ship together after their captain ran off with the intern. She is drowning in debt, and a new revolutionary technology is about to make her ship obsolete, so Temperance really has nothing going for her. Soon, Temperance finds herself working with a man named Arcadio. He is the son of this very prominent family, and he has been sent off with Temperance to scout this backwater planet known as Herschel 2. Obviously, there are tensions and sparks between Temperance and Arcadio, even though they don't really like each other, and Temperance begins to question that Arcadio might have ulterior motives for taking her to Herschel 2, and they uncover a mystery that has to do with the Emperor, the planet, as well as their own relationship. Next, we have The Ashes in the Star-Cursed King by Carissa Broadbent. This is the second book after The Serpent and the Wings of Night, which I read a couple of months ago, was pleasantly surprised by it, quite enjoyed it. It is a new spin on vampires. This series has a Hunger Games feel, as we are following a character who's a human, grew up in a vampire-inhabited world. She entered a tournament, won, and now the entire empire, as all of these secrets came to light, is completely in turmoil. She finds herself a ruler over these vampires, betrothed or wed to a vampire king, as the two of them are navigating this new world and war that is on the horizon. One thing I will say about this book, and I've heard that this is happening, but this book looks smaller than the other book, and it is 500 and something pages, almost 600 pages. But the paper that they are printing on is way thinner than like the stock that they were using for other books. And I don't know if publishers are doing this to like save on cost, but it makes the book smaller, but the pages are way flimsier, and I'm not yet sure if I'm a fan of this. I just wasn't expecting it in this book, so just something I noticed. Next, we have The Silver Blood Promise by James Logan. This is the first book in a new adult fantasy series. I'm currently reading this. I'm on page like 105. It is on my July TBR. If you haven't checked that out, I'll link it up in the cards. But in this series, we're following a man named Lucan, and he's like in his 20s, and he is a disgraced son of this aristocrat, like this scholarly aristocrat. He is disgraced because he ended up dueling a classmate of his at the academy and accidentally killed him, and he fled and has not been back home or spoken to his father since. That's been about 7 years. Lucan just learned that his father was dead, and it's suspected that he was murdered, probably over something that he learned in his scholarly journey about these forbidden lands. So Lucan takes it upon himself to travel to the fabled city called Safrana, which might hold the keys to his father's mysterious death. Next, I picked up a book called Peaches and Honey by R. Rayetta. This is an independently published book. I got it off of Amazon, and the reason that I picked it up, well, for a couple reasons. It had really good reviews. It has a gorgeous cover, and it sounds very similar to The Invisible Life of Addie LaRue, which is one of my favorite fantasy books. I do have a full review for it. I'll link it up in the cards for you guys. But this book is a slow burn romance, and I don't think it's like heavy on the spice, which will be an interesting kind of take on romance. This book starts out really early in the year 1184. We are following a main character named Anna, who is used to hardship, and one day a kind stranger gives her this peach. She takes a bite of the peach, and then everything changes forever. Anna finds that she has been gifted with immortality. Her body, everything is untouched, unchanged by time, and we're following her as she navigates through the rest of her life with this immortality gift. And the only person that can give her company is the shape-shifting god that granted her this immortality. So like I said, it sounds very similar in premise to The Invisible Life of Addie LaRue, but I think that there's going to be a different dynamic between this immortality-giving god and the demon from Addie LaRue. So it just piqued my interest, and hopefully I'll like it. And lastly, we have One Dark Window by Rachel Gillig. This is book 1 in the Shepherd King series. In this book, we are following a character named Elspeth, and Elspeth lives in the Kingdom of Blunder, which is dangerous, it's mysterious, and it's shrouded in fog, and definitely not safe. The only thing protecting Elspeth is the monster named Nightmare, who actually lives inside of her head. When Elspeth meets a stranger on the highway, her life takes a drastic turn. She joins a dangerous quest to help cure the kingdom of Blunder from this evil mist, and this highwayman actually turns out to be the king's own nephew who is accused of high treason. So we have a maiden with a monster trapped inside her head, which I think will probably manifest as some sort of cool magical ability, as well as a disgraced nephew to the king who's attempting to reclaim his kingdom. Okay, you guys, that is it for my book haul. Let me know in the comments if you guys have read any of these books and what you thought of them, as well as any books that you acquired in the month of June. Thank you so much for watching, and I will see you all in another video soon. Goodbye!